welcome back to Cool Club's headquarters here in Scottsdale. We are here today with the Sam Bettinardi of Bettinardi Golf, president of Bettinardi Golf, and Mark Timms, our CEO and founder. And today we want to talk about everything about Bettinardi Golf. So I hear that this year is kind of a big change up for you. You've got some building changes and some equipment kind of additions coming into your Chicago locations.
Yeah, the last couple of years, as you guys know, being in the golf industry has been wild. It's been a lot of growth for a lot of companies. I'm sure just for Cool Clubs. Yeah. Bettinardi Golf the same. The last couple of years, just exponential growth, a lot of professional wins. But back in Tinley Park is where we manufacture all of our product, just outside Chicago, Illinois. And this year we just purchased our third building, which is going to allow room for more machines, more distribution. And we have plans to open our first retail store and expand our studio to Oak Brook, Illinois. So our studio's been located above the factory floor since 2005. As we were just talking earlier, it's only allows for about 8 fittings a day in that space, by appointment only. We have so many customers that fly in from around the country that want to be able to shop and see our head covers and check out the hive. So we felt that, moving to Oak Brook, which is the mecca for shopping in Chicago, it's very centrally located just west of the city. It's easy for the North Siders to get to, the South Siders, so that should be opening in June. So amongst those big changes, a lot of products launching, but it's been busy back in Chicago.
Yeah, so you're going to do some fitting stuff in the shopping area. It's not just a retail space; it's also fitting too.
Correct. It's not just retail. So we're going to have 2 putter bays. We use Quintech to do all of our putter fittings. We're going to use the Foresight Hawk system to do our wedge fittings, which would be really nice. Yeah. The hive is going to be moving there, in addition to a really, really cool custom room where customers can sit down with our hive concierge and design their own putter start to finish. Look at all the finishes, the face millings, the neck styles. Mark, I think that's right up your alley for you to come and check that out.
Yep, have to get there and see that.
Awesome. So let's touch on wedges, because it's Bettinardi Golf. It's not just putters. Wedges you're on the 5.0 version this year, right?
Yes. So we launched our first wedge line back in 2014. We usually do 2 to 2.5 year product cycles. Our wedge line has gotten some action on the PGA Tour, which has been great. A couple players put them into play. But I think for our brand and the look and the feel of our wedges, the fact that they're 100% forged, we've expanded offerings every year. This year there's chrome and black. There's 2 grinds, 48 to 60 degrees. And a lot of fitters tell us that our wedges perform better than the leading wedge manufacturer out there. 10% more spin, 12% lower launch. So we're really proud of the product that we've been able to produce. It's got our name on it. We're not going to produce a product that we're not proud of. So the fact that my father and I have our stamp of approval on there, it's been performing really well. And I would say kind of just getting started. Everybody knows us for the putters in the golf industry, not so much the wedges, but the last few years, this year being nominated to the Golf Digest hot list for the wedges for the first time was a big, marketing buzz for that line of product, and we're going to keep going.
And you're pushing some of these products. Tour presence for you. I think people think Bettinardi. Standout for me is obviously Cooch, right? He's the guy that everyone kind of knows. Arm lock, it's a big deal. But you've brought in, George Gankas to tell the story of your short game.
Yes. Yeah, everybody knows Gankas for his swing, and Matt Wolf and how he's teaching his methodology there. And we felt with George and his huge audience that he has on social media, he's done a great job on there to start talking about his wedges and his putters, people would listen. So he's done a great job for us getting the word out there, and we love having George on the team. And, like you said, in addition to Cooch, Matt Fitzpatrick, who won the U.S. Open last year, he got his first PGA Tour win with the Bettinardi. Jason Kokrak on Live Tour, Fred Couples, who secured our 100th win, which was pretty cool. And
let's circle back to the 100th win in a second.
It was Freddie that did that.
It was Freddie. Cool. Yeah. We couldn't have wrote the script any better.
No, that really does work out well.
Yeah, I feel like when Bettinardi gets a win on tour, it's always like a really cool story too. It was like, hey, and I was searching for putters and I couldn't find one, and found you guys, and then it kind of took off. I know Molinari had that experience, and I think Matt Fitzpatrick definitely had that experience. It kind of changed his game, and he got hot real quick. And obviously a lot of tour wins, 100 tour wins now, and you've got a commemoration putter over here.
I do, yeah. We were we celebrated this. We're holding this. Mark just brought these into Cool Club, so I'm holding this right here, 100th win. So when we got the win, for a company our size and being 25 years in business, we don't have the crazy budgets to sign players, to full 14 club deals. So it's huge. It's a great accomplishment for us to get any win on any tour for that matter. So when we were sitting on 99, we were wondering, what could we do to celebrate our milestone? Who's going to get the 100th win? We were hoping it was one of our staffers, so of course we could use name and likeness. And Fred in November ended up shooting 60, the best round of his life on the Champions Tour. He birdied 12 of 14 holes. So the putter I'm holding right here, everybody knows Fred has been using the Fred Couples blade, or our FCB. And in the last year, he switched to our SS28, which is a wide body, heel toe weighted blade, and he's got a beautiful welded flow neck on there. So what we did for this limited run, we only made 100 pieces. Everything's gold flame. It has Fred's roll control face milling on there, and the face and the sole were high polished. So it's just absolutely stunning.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful piece. And again, every putter's hand welded.
Yeah.
Our welder was not happy with me when we decided to weld every piece here, but
One or two are fun. 100's a whole different deal.
100's it's a different story, but every piece is just stunning. And we released this shortly after 100th win, and just an accomplishment we're so proud of. And we're at 101 now with Ben Silverman winning on the Corn Ferry a week ago after getting a sponsor's exemption to get into play there, and just really cool. So fun to celebrate that.
It's a great piece. I love it when brands do kind of do that to commemorate it. It's great collectible, and it just looks awesome in that high polished gold.
Yes.
People be able to check out some. I took some videos and some slow mos of that, so check that out on our social media. And you touched on just in the middle of that. This is your 25th anniversary year.
Yes.
So you've also got another putter there, which is really, really cool. So blank. Let's just check this thing out.
Is it only your 25th anniversary?
25. So just to back up on our history a little bit too.
Yeah.
My father, Bob Bettinardi, he started milling putters in the golf industry in 1992. So he walked into a golf shop in 1991 and he saw an advertisement on the wall for a putter that was milled on a Bridgeport milling machine. And as you know, those are the machines you crank by hand.
By hand, yep.
And,
Done it.
And you've done it. And I
Solid
saw
work,
it just here when I walked in. So he had one CNC machine at the time. So he called the company on the ad and he said, "Hey, I'm Bob Bettinardi. I'm in Chicago. I think I can help make your putters." I didn't think anybody would call him back. 5 minutes later, they said, "Bob, the vendor we're using sucks. The quality's terrible. The delivery's late. Why don't you come on out to California and show you what we're looking for?" So he did, and he started making putters for a lot of the OEMs in the mid-'90s, so 92 to 98, and then in 98 branched off on his own and started Bettinardi Golf. So what we decided to do 2023 is to celebrate that in a big way. A lot of companies don't make it to 25 years. And I feel like with our brand, we have such a rich history, again, with the wins and how we started and being the first people to ever make the one-piece milled putter, which is really cool. So touching on all that, design, heritage, craftsmanship, innovation, the heritage element is what we wanted to touch on this year. So every month in 2023, we're going to be debuting a limited run putter, 250 pieces of each model. So in January, this is the putter I'm holding right here. This is one of the first putters Bob ever made. It's a BB1 MS. So MS stands for mid-style. It's a slightly longer plumber's neck. So most plumber's neck, you guys know about half toe hang. This is about a quarter toe hang. And what Bob did, my father did when introducing this in 1999, is the honeycomb face, right? So that was what took the golf world by storm, where he was able to achieve a face that was not only completely flat, but it looked like jewelry, right? So just a stunning face. This is our fresh take on the honeycomb. This is our new mini honeycomb, which can be found on our Queen Bee series. But that 303 stainless gold-plated insert is just stunning. Again, they're all one of 250 pieces. And throughout this year, we're just going to be touching on a lot of old models, some new models, different finishes, different face milling. So for those that are following along and that are into our limited drops, this will be a fun year to pay attention to that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, stay close attention to us, because we've got a couple of them in store right now too.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, keep eyes out there.
That's interesting, actually. You say that's, kind of going back to the 25-year heritage of, custom putters, because I'm going to have to bring this up now. There's some old putters, actually. It was 25 years ago, so I was still in Connecticut, I remember, because I actually went out and saw Bob a couple times. But this was the first putter I really thought was really cool looking. This is the 38 Special. There's a story behind it. He's done some other ones, a 50 caliber and a few others, but just really cool looking. So it's a lot of work in laying all the tungsten or the copper and stuff in here. Did the same thing on the face, and this is kind of the putter that kind of caught my eye. And I went out and saw your dad.
I got you hooked.
Yeah, and I'm like, and he started making some really cool, like one-off, really, kind of jewelry looking, right? So this is all polished and stuff and probably too polished to putt with, but it looks beautiful, and that's kind
Well,
of
that one I think's got a blasted top line, but
yeah, it does actually. It's not too bad from the top.
That's
but,
why,
like I said, but they're definitely shiny everywhere else. But yeah, I just want to start looking at them. I collected quite a few of them actually. I've got probably 50 or so throughout the years and stuff. But that new one looks kind of like old school, like real.
We're trying to bring it
really
back.
cool looking. Yep.
Yeah. So when you see
neat.
the first quarter of the models that we're dropping, again, a little bit of new, a little bit of old, but the font styles, the grips, the head covers, we're always trying to bring it back to that heritage. And again, you touched on, a lot of those limited pieces we've made because we manufacture all of our putters in our own shop, right? It gives us the ability to have complete control, right? We can walk on our shop floor, talk to our machinist, right? 3D print our heads. Everything start to finish is done right there. The machining, the polishing, the paint, the assembly. So it's really, really cool to be able to dream up some of these ideas and watch it happen.
Yeah. Let's talk about tech on the face. I mean, we touched on it, honeycomb there and the inserts. Is there any link to certain models having certain face styles or what the honeycomb produces versus the vertical lines or the horizontal lines?
Sure. So when 1998, when we founded Bettinardi Golf, the honeycomb face, we were making putters for Scotty Cameron in the 90s. And the fly mill face that he was using, and even still to this day, has a little dish in the middle of the face, so it was concave. So if you were to rub your thumb down the middle of that face of the putter, it actually goes down.
Oh.
Versus when we created the honeycomb face, it was completely flat, and like I said, it looks like jewelry. So we were never telling people or never explaining or marketing that it was going to get the ball into the hole faster. It was a different feel, and it was completely flat. So throughout the years, I think the different face technologies has been part of the Bettinardi calling card to be able to, again, machine it in-house, test, see what kind of those feels produce. So I would say the last 23 years up until we introduced the roll control face was always about feel, right? The honeycomb was more of our firmer feel. Fly mill was kind of, right in the middle. The fit face which stood for feel impact technology. A lot of our professionals use that face. You can be more aggressive with it on those fast greens. That's why they prefer it. And then more recently, which is the roll control face, where we are still removing material from the face, just like the fit face, but we're machining the grooves at a 45-degree angle, which we've shown gets the ball into a true roll faster. So we've tested it on Quintek. We've seen the pros do it. They're blown away that when they hit it, it actually does start rolling end over end. So again, up until the roll control face was introduced, it's always been a feel story. Hey, you're a European player. You like our honeycomb because the greens are 9s or 10s.
Yeah, but you got to explain really what they're talking about too is different faces. Basically, the deeper the grooves and stuff, right? It's a softer feel, right? So it impacts the ball, and the ball squishes into those parts that aren't milled and stuff. So it really is feel, and basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but potentially the deeper the grooves and stuff, the softer it feels.
Yes, we always say, our fit face. We were removing, and the same thing with the roll control. We're removing about 55% of the material, so less mass hitting the golf ball at impact is going to equate to a softer feel. So even in the fly mill, for that matter, right, when you go really aggressive, like on our BB series, that's a lot softer than, let's say, a smooth face or a fine fly mill because you're cutting more material out. So when I go to tour and we work with these players and they're asking for, hey, this is just a little too hot. Well, let me give you a new face, right? Try this. Where a lot of the brands just have one face, right? Whether it's an insert or whether it's one style of milling, we can really blow golfers away, right? Amateurs and professionals alike, by providing those unique feels, which is pretty cool.
So what you're saying basically is this new face you're coming out with actually changes the performance of how the ball rolls and spins, right? So in previous years and stuff, it's basically been more of a question of feel and how fast it comes off. But you're talking about actually changing different characteristics now.
Yes, correct.
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
So let's touch on some new products. I don't know if Jared's got it up on screen here now, but we're looking at the new Studio Stock series for 2023. Maybe walk us through this line from left to right here and tell us, a little bit background of each model and the differences and the players that might use them.
Sure. So the Studio Stock series is, I would say, more our inspiration from the PGA Tour goes directly into this line. So you'll see on this series, it's our platinum finish, which is, your very rich silver looking. We decided to class it up a little bit on the face, and the sole is a polished face, so it's more of a mirror look. And then again, through the line, you'll see different models there. So starting from the left, you have our Studio Stock 9 Spud in plumbers. So the SS9 is a wide body. I'm calling it more of a mid-body blade, so it's got a widened flange. So looking down just stunning, added confidence from address. You see that high toe top line. That's not a feature found in many retail putters. It's more of a tour style feature. Beautiful, beautiful heads. I think those will be our best sellers. Then you go to the SS14. This is replacing the SS18, which is more your classic BB8 style heel toe weighted blade. But again, we added a little bit more material in the flange. We just keep finding professionals and amateurs alike, right? You looked at Fred Couples' putter, wide body flange. Matt Kuchar's putter, wide body flange.
It's kind of the guys who look at a traditional look, right? So
Yes.
the answer style, whatever, but a little bit deeper and bigger, like a mount. It's kind of a cross between a mount and a blade kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly. So the SS14, I would say, and we'll give credit to Mr. Solheim, that's our answer 2 style head.
Right, there you go.
Right, but it's got that widened flange.
Right.
So just a beautiful head. The SS16 is a brand new mount for us, very round. It's got beautiful milled radiuses in the heel and toe that come all the way around and extended on the flange. It's a face balanced option. Ryan Moore just put it into play last week at Pebble. He had a nice top 10. So that instant tour validation is always fun and great to see. And then the SS35, I snuck this model in because it's one of my personal favorites. Kind of modeled off of our boxcar, which was always been a traditional tour-only, hive-only head. But we precision milled that one-piece milled slant neck into it. So again, when we're designing this range, you know, we have 4 series of product. We have our BB series, our Innovate line, our Queen Bee series, and the Studio Stock line. We're always trying to develop a series that fits all golfers, right? So from the SS9, you know, again, a face balance mid-body blade, and then you have your plumber's neck, half-toe hang mid-body blade. And you go to your traditional blade in the 14, your face balance mount in the 16, and your half-toe hang, you know, compact mount in the 35.
Yep.
So we feel like we're hitting most golfers in this series. And then if you look at the rest of our series, you have different finishes. You have different feels. There's an option for everybody. So I think throughout all of our series, we have about 21 to 22 different SKUs. So if you're coming to Cool Clubs to get fit for a Bettinardi putter or for any putter, if you look at the Bettinardi range, there's something for everybody there.
Awesome. I do want to touch on the Queen Bee line. They're always interesting shapes to me. And correct me if I'm wrong, but seem to always be kind of shorter from heel to toe, and they kind of flare up the edges, you know, much more softer kind of shapes to them.
Yes.
You know, what's the story there?
The story, to be honest, guys, is my mother, Ann Bettinardi, who we call the Queen Bee now after the Queen Bee series, was always looking for a ladies putter, but whenever she would go to the golf stores, it would always be a 33-inch male putter with a pink grip on it.
Yeah.
So she was like, why aren't there any elegant options out there for women? So she had this putter we made for the Japan market back in 1996. It was just a really beautiful compact mallet, really nice muscles, shoulders that all kind of melted into the flange and the body of the putter. And we decided we wanted to make a line for women back in 2010, 2011 and produce the Queen Bee series. There was the Queen Bee 1 and the Queen Bee 2. And when we launched it that year, I think 99% of our customers were men. So we kind of told my mom, hey, we got something here, even though you wanted it for ladies. Men are buying it because they love the unique head shapes, right? It's more where elegance meets performance. You have these beautiful, everything's kind of flowy. The Queen Bee 6 has been our most popular head. Again, that nice wide body blade, the high toe top line. There's 4 models in the Queen Bee series. I think golfers love, again, the honeycomb face is on all those Queen Bee series. Our finish, very, very elegant. And it's just been a series that's so different from everything else that's on the market. I think all golfers are attracted to it. Now, if you look at our Korean market, it's 60% women that buy the models and 40% men. You know, they have a lot of female golfers over there. But again, it's been a great series for us, and it's something different. And again, when we added that 4th model this year, it fits all golfers. So really cool.
And then going into Innovate, however you say it, I feel like that line is a completely different line. It's a technology line. It's more about game improvement, maybe much bigger shapes, and obviously use 2 pieces.
Yes. So the Innovates are bimetal construction. So in years past, it was always aluminum up front and stainless in the back, and we finally figured out a way to mill the front piece out of 303 stainless steel and the rear out of 6061 military-grade aluminum. So Innovate is more, again, your high MOI. For those listening, you know, MOI is the club's resistance to twisting or turning. So I feel that the 6 and the 8 are very stable, very smooth swinging clubs. And again, The 6 and the 8, we have both in spud neck for more of a face balanced option.
Spud
and
neck,
a slant
single bend.
single bend, yes.
Yeah. Spud has got an acronym for something, or
That's the type of the neck that we precision machine into the head. It's just a little single bend spud, and the shaft goes in there.
Okay.
There used to be double bend, spud necks that were double bend shafts.
Yep.
I think that look has kind of faded out. I think it's
Yeah,
more
I
of
don't see
an
that much
older look.
anymore.
Yeah.
But golfers really like that shaft that just effortlessly flows right into the head.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely a cleaner way of doing it.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's definitely a cleaner way of doing it. You don't
very
get that
clean
kind of-
way. That double bend, that little wiggle, I think again, it's just tired.
It gets a bit messy. Sorry to cut you off there. And then you had slant neck on there.
And then the slant neck on both the 6 and the 8s. The 6 is also available in center. The 8's in arm lock. So throughout that series, there's 8 SKUs. Both have left-handed options. But just a great opportunity for golfers that I want to say struggle with their putting, that are looking for more of that stability on the putting greens. The tour, there's a lot of tour players that have used and won with that. Our former staffer, Sam Horsfield, got a European tour win out there with that product. We've had success on the LPG tour with the Innovate line. Jim Herman, who's won 3 times on the tours, won with our Innovate. So, again, that tour validation is really nice and proves what we're doing works.
That's great. And I don't want to drop you in any hot water here, but anything else coming in the club space in future years?
We're working on it. A lot of R&D back in Chicago. The new wedges, like I said, those launched in November. With the advent of our studio, in the simulator, there's going to be a lot of testing.
Yes.
And that's all I can
You'll learn
say.
a bunch from doing that. Don't finish all day. Yeah.
We'll be learning. We'd like to learn from you. You guys got a lot of fancy equipment
So
here.
when do we see a full set of milled irons? Is that,
Oh, man. You are
thinking
putting
about?
me on this.
I think that water's too hot water there.
That's boiling.
exactly.
No, we get asked the
I'm
question.
just guessing. I don't know anything. I'm just thinking that's the next logical step.
Yeah, we get asked that question all the time, and because it is the next logical step, right? We know metal, we know machining. With our wedges having a lot of success there, forging them and having such great performance. My dad and I always joke, whenever we have the best possible product in terms of irons, we're going to come to market. So whether that's next year or 10 years, it's always been in the back of my mind. We're avid golfers, so we would love more than anybody.
Done, right? So a bunch of companies done that for tour players, especially in left-handed, right? So like
Yes.
Phil or whatever, somebody making clubs, and then I'll do one-off sets of entirely milled heads. It's just really expensive.
Very, very expensive.
It's a long time to mill iron out of a block. So,
Yes.
There's been a couple of companies recently that've had that whole story, and they've only put it into certain sections of the bag, as I'm assuming the expense is beyond the return
gets up
for a
there.
little bit. Yeah.
Well, the iron and even the wedge, for that matter, the shape does not lend itself to milling, right?
No.
Where a putter, it's got more vertical and horizontal areas, where that iron, right, you have loft.
Everything's curved, so it's tough to
Everything's
mill
curved.
curves.
Very hard to precision machine that. You need some crazy five-axis machining to make that happen. So.
Well, we look forward to seeing something coming in the future.
Yes.
That was awesome, mate. Thank you so much for coming out and spending all that time with us. And if anyone wants the best putters out there,
It's awesome. We got
check
quite a
out
collection
Bettinardi.
of them here. It's sick in the back though. So if you come in and don't see a bunch of specialty ones, just ask somebody. We'll show them where they are.
Got it. Thank you, guys. Great to be here.
Thanks,
All right.
Sam. See you, mate.
See you.